walking down a dark alleyway. Oh no! You hear weird street sounds from the populated streets of New York. You're walking down this alley, and you
What are those
kick
streets
a kid.
saying? Why am I hearing street sounds?
Because there's cars and people walking by.
Oh, my bad.
That would be why. But it's a dark alley because
What time of day
you're
is it?
between two. It's like 6 p.m. So it's getting kind of dark, but it's not very dark yet.
It's gloomy out.
It's very gloomy. We then find you in this alleyway that is shadowed by two large buildings, and in between them,
What
your
buildings?
shortcut. Those two that are right next to each other that are really big.
Awesome.
You take this shortcut home every day, and you take this to work every day as well, because it's just the shortest path to the place that you work, which is Petsco.
Where do I work?
Something.
Oh, thank you. You already answered.
You work with
Thank you.
animals. That's what you do.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So you're taking this alleyway home, and you had to stay over 2 hours later because a dog puked on the floor, and then simultaneously all of the other dogs puked on the floor, and you had to clean it. You were the only employee there. You had to clean it up.
So I'm a very grumpy man this evening.
Yes, you're very, very angry.
Freaking having to
as
pick
you're
up dog
walking
puke
down
on
this,
my salary. I'm only getting paid $5 an hour. What is this bullcrap?
That's what you said as you were walking down this alleyway, and from the side behind this dumpster, as you were passing it, you hear a muffled grump of a homeless man sitting there, and he goes, "Oh, fucker, take your job, you stupid fucker." And that's as you're walking past. That's all you catch. But
I offer the man my sandwich.
you, I guess, have a sandwich, and you give that sandwich to the homeless man, and he grabs it out of your hand and begins eating it. He thanks you as you turn to walk off. And
Doing good is always good.
little does he know there's mayonnaise on it, and he hates mayonnaise. So
Oh crap!
this homeless man stands. You hear him say, "Mayonnaise! I hate mayonnaise." And then you hear a scuffling behind you, and then
I'm like,
shuffling
no,
of
that's
feet.
Miracle Whip. That's Miracle Whip.
But it's too late. You turn around, and he already has a knife to your back, or to your stomach, because you turned around. Shit. And he stabs you twice in the stomach before you can turn away and run.
Little does he know that I have an anti-stab Kevlar vest on.
that you have an anti-stab Kevlar vest on that somehow covers your lower abdomen very, very well.
Very well.
And the knife stops at the Kevlar, and he looks up at you and he says, "Are you a cop?" And
I said, no. I'm Batman.
And then Batman beats him up in the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
That wasn't very scary,
that was
but
a
that
good
was
story.
supposed to be, because
No.
Austin
was a good
Austin turned it immediately to like, let's make this weird.
Hey, I had to interrupt all the time.
I didn't know that that Bruce Wayne worked at Petsco or whatever, but I
It's
guess
his
he
cover.
does.
It's his cover.
He doesn't own Wayne Industries, his business.
No. All the villains, they figure out his identity, and they go to Wayne Corp going to beat him up and kill him and stuff, and they're like, "Where's Bruce Wayne?" He's like, "He doesn't work here." What? They don't know.
Don't you see the remodeling the name outside? And it's like dropping in like I don't even know, like Bill Gates LLC
Weber
or
Corp?
something. What the fuck? Sure. But yeah, that was supposed to be kind of scary, but then
Oh, it was. Sorry, I didn't know that it was actually legitimately going for a scary thing.
That was.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have done.
That was totally scripted and not improv at all. That was coming up there.
Yeah, definitely.
But that was supposed to be scary, just because it's well, it's not even Halloween. It's October-y time, which means everyone does scary stuff, and we want to jump on that bandwagon before. No. We just had the idea of doing this podcasting because we were gonna do a podcast before, but stuff came up and we couldn't get it done for the 1 week, so we were like, well, why don't we just do it when we're doing all the spooky, scary blah, blah, stuff and
Spoopy stuff.
That's what we're doing, and
spooky, scary, spoopy stuff.
So we're gonna be talking kind of about either stories. I don't know if we have any good stories that we're gonna tell. About anything.
I have really
either
stories.
personal experiences or not, like in books and stuff like that, like either fictional or someone else's account of like something that they've seen, heard, blah blah blah. So we're gonna go over that, and then we're gonna talk about like why things are scary and how things affect, like how like why some people think like a spider is scary versus bats. Yeah, right. There you go.
Yeah, freaking baseball bats. Those are terrifying.
They are. They kill more people than hippopotamuses. Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of what you guys are gonna get into if you stuck around past that weird opening bit. So yeah.
I didn't realize that you were going for a legitimate attempt at kind of like a spooky story. I thought that you were going for a joke, so I just kept interrupting.
It was like I had an idea before we actually started, and I was like, "Oh, you're down in an alleyway, and your shoes are untied." But that was like stupid sounding to me, so I was like, "I'll change it up to be something else." And then like we literally were like, "Okay, well let's record then," and we hit record. We did it like sing stuff, and we were like, I was like, I don't know what else to say. You're walking down a creepy alleyway and da-da-da. And I was like blanked for a moment and was like, this thing. And yeah, then something about Petsco came in because I just saw a commercial for that a little bit ago. Yeah. And yeah, that's what came to my mind. So, yeah. So Austin had a story of some description. I don't think it's scary, but, I'm putting you on the spot now because you were saying something about it.
Story is giving it a lot of credit.
Oh.
This is Okay. Are you guys ready for the most riveting, scary story of your life?
Wait, I need to. I was gonna say I need to have like a cup with me that I could rattle the spoon with, but I don't have one in here, so.
That'd probably also sound weird. I'll add it in post. If I'm not lazy.
Like a metal spoon.
Okay.
In a ceramic cup.
This is called The Day of All the Blood.
Oh God. Yeah. This will be good.
Scary, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
this
terrifying.
Is scary, right?
It's already got me shaking.
Shaking with anticipation of ready to rip into it. I mean, what? Here we go. This is the story of a day where there was all this blood. A man was walking around, and blood started coming out from him everywhere. There was so much blood that it filled up an elevator. He went to the store, and there was just blood all over the place. People were slipping in it, and they were all grossed out. He tried to go swimming, and all the sharks went nuts and bit into everybody. He got chased by all the vampires ever. One time, the blood got a kid and a dog. At the end of the day, everyone decided they would send him into space so that he would stop getting blood everywhere. The scariest part is that man was you! Or he was a lady if you were a lady. And he forgot that this happened. Are you peeing your pants yet, Zach?
It's so scary. Yeah, I'm terrified. I'm shaking. I'm shaking in my chair. Hang on. I actually had to like lift
Holy.
my arms up.
You had to spaz out there.
Yeah.
Uh,
That was so scary.
yeah, that was terrifying.
That was. Anyway, so he didn't tell me what it was at all. He was just like, I have a story. I'm like,
No.
is it a scary story? He's like, it's a story. I'm like, fucking, okay, sure. We'll go with it. Oh my god.
yeah.
Well, now I know to never trust your judgment ever again.
I didn't say it was a good story, did I?
No, you didn't, but you said it was
I
a
just
story.
said it was a story. And then I said that just calling it a story is giving it a lot of credit.
Yeah.
Before I read it, so
Yeah.
I did rhyme
which I agree,
even though it was
kind
the same
of.
thing. It was words on a wiki.
Unless you're a
that I
lady,
read.
then it was
On a wiki
that was
that I
you,
read.
and then you forgot
Yeah.
about it. Shot up into space. What the fuck?
Yeah, they shoot you up into space. Yeah.
Well,
Somehow
that-
in space, you wrote it down on the wiki. And,
I mean, in
sent it to
space,
everybody.
no one can hear you scream. So really, that's the got the reference, maybe, possibly.
I kind of did, yeah. I definitely heard that before.
I have heard that before in the media. Yes.
Yeah. In space.
Are you Googling this?
No one. I was trying to be really quiet so that the mic didn't pick up on the webcam.
Tink, tink, tink.
Okay, so it is an alien thing. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I was thinking that it was an alien thing, but I'm like, I don't want to say it because I'll sound dumb if it isn't.
You'll be like,
So I was just like,
well, no, you'll just have a
Google?
moment of me. You'll be like, oh, this is how Zach feels all the time. Yes, exactly.
sorry, Zach. I never want to feel how you feel.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
It's a burden
I'm good.
sometimes.
All of my my feels would be just gone.
Is that
Anything
one
would
of
make me
your
me.
fears, maybe?
My fear? One of my fears is becoming Zach. Oh no!
I think that's a lot of people's fear. They're like, oh god, no, not him! And then you just, boink, and then you're me suddenly.
That's what we should write a story about a man turning into Zach. Oh, it would, and then we'd be like, it was you.
I can do it for
And
you.
at the end.
I just need to write it an autobiography, and we're set. I think, because that is the only true way to become Zach. At a young age, you must eat dog food, and then you must.
Did you actually eat dog food when you were
yeah,
younger?
man, thought it was delicious.
Oh, how was it? I mean, it was delicious.
You don't realize how salty food is until you taste it. That is some salty ass food. I'm just saying. Not that I would actually maybe know what that is.
Quick
like.
question. I assume that it was the dry food, not the wet canned dog food.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It was the dried
Okay,
like kibble stuff.
I'm gonna be completely honest. If I had to eat dog food, I would eat the kibble way before I'd eat that canned stuff.
Yeah,
Ugh.
it doesn't seem good. The kibble stuff
Yeah.
does not sound
Oh
like a
gosh.
good time.
Anyway, we should probably get back on track.
This is what happens when we're just like, well, let's wing it because all of our other plans kind of poofed.
Yeah, we didn't prepare for this as well as we should have.
Oh, was that not apparent that you had to state it?
Well,
We
I
didn't
felt
prepare
like
at all for this. Oh, really?
Yeah,
I would have
yeah.
never guessed.
We're almost 15 minutes in, and they didn't figure it out by now.
And there was like 3 minutes of us talking, 5 minutes or like not even 5 minutes. It was like 2 seconds of a story thing, and then you have this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I don't know which. I'll let you pick. Like, which do you want to do first? Do you want to do the fear thing first, or the other thing?
I think fear would probably be the more logical choice because then we could then we can explain. I don't know why I went explore. I was mixing the
and
words.
explain.
People.
That's what you were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why fears are fears? I feel as if the explanation should be at the end.
You go. Smart.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess.
Oh wait, no, I'm not supposed to be smart. I'm not supposed to be smart.
Good to know. Okay, so I guess let's kind of start with our some of our fears that we have. Whether it was like a past fear and you're over it now, I guess we can bring that up too. But it's more like maybe more of like a current, like what you're currently afraid of than anything else. So,
okay.
Yeah. I will begin, I guess, to get us started.
Okay.
I mean, everyone knows I'm afraid of sharks if they've watched any of the Far Cry series or really anything on our channel.
Or Fallout, really, because Fallout kind of
Fallout
freaking
doesn't
out
even
about
have
water
sharks,
and stuff.
But
no.
They have Mirelurks, which was kind of scary enough.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Whew.
like sharks are like probably my biggest fear, and it's a very irrational fear because I am nowhere near a large enough body of water to have a shark be a threat to me. So
not at all. That's exactly what my parents would tell me whenever I was like, I'm afraid of sharks. They're like, you do realize that you live nowhere near the ocean. I'm like, yeah.
Like I mean, I don't know why. It's just like their behaviors and stuff like that is what mostly scares me. Well, that and their size, which also kind of scares me. But the thing is with that, like nothing else of that size scares me.
Yeah.
So I don't know why. Like, I mean, I know why. We'll get into that later.
It's some deep-seated, rooted thing in your brain from
when
you were a child.
Back when I saw Jaws for the first time. No. No, I never had a problem with Jaws, really. I mean, that's probably what started it. But like, I always thought Jaws was kind of cool because it was like underwater bait. I guess I was more focused on where they were, not the shark itself. I would say the underwater base was pretty cool, and then it was like, oh, well, that's weird. Another one of my older fears that I'm pretty much over now is like the fear of heights, and it's not so much.
Yeah, that's a pretty common one.
It's not just like the fear. Mine's weird though because it's not the fear of heights. It's when I'm moving higher in altitude. That's what scares me.
So like, if you're on that ride on the fair that like starts bringing you up like 30 feet in the air. Or whatever,
oh yeah, I would.
As you're rising, you'd be terrified.
Yes, I would freak the hell out.
You wouldn't be until you. Okay.
Once you
what
hit
about
the
if
pinnacle,
once you stopped moving?
I'd probably be a little more okay and start going down. I'd be like, oh my god, thank God. But I have more of a
it's
fear
just the
of
act of getting
raising in an altitude than anything else. Which is kind of weird because like there's no way to like get rid of that fear or vanquish that fear without doing it and realizing that hey, that's totally you're fine and you're not going to die from it.
Yeah. So
I really am not sure why that is a fear of mine. It just was for the longest time. Like I couldn't climb a ladder up onto the top of my my dad's house because I was like, nope. I mean, I can climb a little ways up the ladder, but after that, I'm like, nope, because I won't get back down.
Yeah.
So that's kind of another irrational fear that I have, which is kind of just because, like, I don't have those scenarios. I don't put myself in those scenarios, but it's more of I fear if I was to be put in a scenario, not of my own volition, to be like, oh, you were. I don't know how this worked, but like you were unconscious and or drunk and or on something, and you got on a roller coaster.
You.
Yeah, like if someone put me in that situation, I would act much differently, and I would be absolutely terrified. But it's kind of whatever.
And then you would kill whoever did it as soon as you were back in the right state of mind.
Oh yeah. Which is another thing.
As soon as you were done peeing your pants, you'd be like, and then you'd be like
you. Yeah, which is another thing that I think is weird. Like a lot of people are kind of like scared of scary movie stuff because it's like they're like bloody, gory, blah blah blah. Blood and gore really isn't like it doesn't make me scared.
Blood
it makes
and gore
me
don't bother
sick. it makes like my stomach feel like it's like I'm like, oh, I'm gonna puke now. Great. And it's
Yeah.
not like because I'm scared or anything.
Yeah.
It's just because I think it's kind of, I don't know, unnecessarily gross. And I'm like, it's not like the fear, or it's not an emotion that's making me feel that. It's just like my brain's like that. It would be kind of smelling disgusting, pretty much. And I'm just like, bleh. So yeah, that's another, not fear, but I don't know what you would call that though. But yeah, I've had that since I was little because my uncle lived with us for a while or whatever, and he watched like the Saw movies when I was little, and I had my own room, but I would sleep on the couch. Yeah, and I'd wake up to the Saw movies being on, and I'd be like, and I would just go in the bathroom and do a little pukey puke, be like, bleh, and then be done, and I'd be like, cool, great, now I can go back to sleep.
And then you come back out and Hostel's on, and you're like, ugh, and then you're back in the bathroom.
Because those movies just make me feel sick. They don't so I don't know. What are some of your fears?
I'm not nearly as afraid of sharks as you are. That's apparent in our videos too, because I'm the one that has to do all the water related things. So like if I was afraid of a shark as he is, we probably wouldn't have finished Far Cry, because like any mission that had to do with
still
water,
be going on to this day.
Yeah, we would have to we would have had to bring in like one of my family members or one of yours just to get past that mission or something stupid, just because we'd be like, the biggest fear that I could think of that I have, that I it's not really even a fear anymore. It was something that I didn't expect. Whenever it happened, is I found out that around like real blood, I kind of get a little queasy or a little woozy. Like I found it out because my mom cut herself whenever she was cutting like a potato or something. I don't remember what it was exactly, but she kind of cut herself, a little bit of blood on the counter. I didn't feel any kind of like really sick or anything like that, but I grabbed like a paper towel and I kind of like wiped it up, and my arm went like, I was like, what the crap? Like my arm just started like I got tingles, and then all of a sudden I was like, whoa, and I didn't feel very good. And I'm like, okay, that was weird. And then like I cut myself like my thumb, and just wouldn't stop bleeding. It was like, I've never had a panic attack, but I imagine that's the closest that I've ever had to a panic attack. Because I was just like, why won't it stop bleeding?
Yeah.
And rationally I look at it, I'm like, it's just my freaking thumb. What did I cut? Did I cut an artery? No.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I'm not gonna bleed out. Yeah. But like then I was like, it won't stop. It won't stop.
Yeah.
So that's the closest thing that I can really think of to an actual fear that I have. But I'm not really afraid of blood, and gore doesn't affect me at all in movies or anything like that. Like I could watch the Hostel movies or Saw and all that stuff and be like whatever, and not feel like I have to puke or be afraid of it. But
right,
that's like the closest thing that I can think of right now. The only thing else that I could think of is an open body of water, like the ocean. I wouldn't be a big fan of.
That would be like hell. That would be the closest thing to hell that
I've never had a problem.
just put me.
I've never had a problem with heights. Yeah.
Good God.
And you just be like, It's mainly just because you don't know what's underneath you.
Yeah.
And you're just like, because you can't see it.
I feel
just,
like
it's like.
I feel like I can kind of talk in on this too, because that's also another fear of mine. And I was actually kind of hoping you were going to cover it. But yeah, like when, which we'll actually talk about in a minute, is like the fear of the unknown. Because like you don't know what is below you or what is to the side of you, because most of the time you can't see that far in like deep waters. They're just too cloudy and whatever else. Like there's some areas which are totally fine and void of all that mess and like dirt and sand and stuff that are floating around in the water, and it's very clear. But the thing is, those aren't the waters that people are normally scared of. It's the waters that are deep and you can't see.
It's just dark. As soon as like you look down and you're like, oh, well then.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's
no, thank you.
Yeah. It makes that little pit in your stomach that just like drops and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah. I really can't imagine me getting out of that kind of situation. Like, if I was stranded in the middle of the ocean with, like, my family, I'd be like, okay, guys, sorry, but you're going to have to drag me back to shore or something, because I can't move my body. It's like, but then I can float. They'd probably, like, have me...
right.
They'd probably have me floating there and use me as a raft.
I could probably, like, move in that scenario, but at the same time, like, beyond... moving, if something came out of the water or came up to the water where you can see it, that's when I shut my body down and I close my eyes and hope for the best.
You
expect the worst.
Yeah. The only thing that I could hope that would get me out of that situation is if, like, my survival instincts kicked in and, like, I punched a shark in the face. Because I already imagine that if I was ever in the ocean, it would just be like our luck. A shark would be like, "Hey, how you doing?" And it'd be like, "Oh no."
Yeah. I mean, it's
It'd be like, Zach, is this a bad time to tell you that I cut my hand on a piece of wood?
I would.
Where is it? I'm like, it's inside the
probably
water.
Kick you away to get farther away from you.
Like you, yeah. Like, you maintain a good 60 feet away from me, and make sure you scream when it bites off your leg, so I know when to start swimming faster.
Yeah. Well, like, the worst thought for me isn't even like getting like something biting off my leg or an arm or anything like that, or even just like biting torso or whatever. It's if they would drag me under before I could do anything about it. That's like my biggest fear of that. If something would grab my leg, pull me down before I can even scream, that's my biggest fear in that scenario, because it's like and you're gone. And if it was a scenario where it was you and I put out into like the middle of the ocean and I got pulled under or you got pulled under, like it's terrifying in both scenarios, because like if I get pulled under, I can't warn you. I mean, I can kind of like the water before I go down, but other than that, all you hear is a and you're like, what the fuck? Zach is gone now, or in my case, you're gone and I'm here just chilling, like, oh, where did you go? So yeah, like that's one of like the biggest fears with that. If you have any more fears, list them. If not, we can move on to the next.
I wouldn't say that it would be in like a real life kind of aspect, but like anything that involves me being chased, I always flip out. Kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
I think that might be part of the reason why water creeps me out, is because you can't move as quickly.
Right. Yeah. Being chased in water
is land chase is water is it's pretty bad. Yeah. So like I think that might be why it kind of affects me more. Like, especially if I'm playing like a game that involves water and I'm in the water, I'm like, well, if something tries to get me now, I can't move nearly as quickly or as freely.
Very much so.
Very restrictive water is.
Yeah. Weird, huh? Weird how that works. The biggest body of our planet is what we're the most afraid of. How about that?
70% of the Earth we'll never see.
Right? Yeah.
Or whatever amount it is. It's probably actually more than that. I really have no clue.
Yeah. It like
how much it is Earth-wise.
It's very weird. Which is a kind of a segue into the whole like weird and strange and the unknown, because like what?
I was saying but I made a weird noise because I was readjusting, trying not to be loud.
It was like
I was like
like things. You're dumb. The things that are like weird and strange to us are only weird and strange because like you can't like describe them with like natural words. Like if you would see some kind of dragon beast, okay, we have a name for a dragon, but
dragon beast.
But like if it's not close
a
enough to
dragon-like beast?
Yeah, like a dragon-like beast, I should say. But like other than a dragon-like beast, like what would you call something that is a serpenty thing? You can't. Just because
I'm gonna be completely honest. If that was a scenario, I'd probably be like, "What is that snake, serpent, the dragony thingy?"
Yeah, exactly. You would just have a mumble of words that you would use to describe it, just because like that's how our brain works with things. Like, we have to have a name for everything, we have to have like an explanation to things, or else they're weird and strange to us. Sort of like in in the first Aliens movies and stuff like that. Like, I think they were really good because most of the time you didn't see the alien until the end. Like, you heard sounds of it, and you kind of maybe saw like something move across like an area, but you didn't really see it until the end. Which I think even then was kind of a mistake. Because the biggest thing in creature movies, like scary, like horror creature movies kind of thing, is that fear of the unknown. Because once you can put like an image to whatever is coming after you, it makes it a lot less scary because you can kind of understand how it works then. Like, if it's two-legged or four-legged, if it's four-legged, it probably can move very fast. If it's two-legged, it probably has some hindrances, but it has arms then that can, make up for it. And if it doesn't have arms, it has something else that it can use. Like, that's what the fear of the unknown did for the Alien series at the beginning. That's why it was so scary in the beginning bits. And then to me, at least when I watched them, like, I watched it and was like, what the fuck?
I was about to say.
It got really...
I'm going to be honest, whenever I watched the Aliens movie, I wasn't scared from the Alien movie. But then again, I didn't watch it whenever I was really, really young either.
See, that's a mistake that I made.
I was 12? Yeah, I think I was like 12 or so.
Yeah, I watched them, and like immediately when I was watching it or whatever, I was fucking terrified of the alien because it didn't have a form, and I've never seen them before. I've never heard of them before that. Like, I saw this movie and someone was like, "Oh, this is a good movie. We should watch it." I was like, "Oh, cool. Let's watch it. It's a cool movie, right?" I watched it, and I was
in case you're wondering, that's 8-year-old Zach.
Yeah, that's like 8-9-year-old Zach when he's like, and it's literally like, I didn't know what it was. Like, if I right now I'm saying this to people that have either seen Aliens, all the movies, and maybe even the games that they have out, and you're kind of like, whatever. It's not really that scary once you think about it. Yes, I agree with that now. When the like, that's when it was the most terrifying to me, I think. So when you have something that is very predominant, and you can tell like what it is, it's oh god, I think I messed with my audio cord too much. It just spiked up my volume. So let me turn that down a bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say something after you were done.
That's a bit better. Well, like on Audacity, my volume just went.
Holy crap!
Hang on, I gotta turn it up a bit more, cause there we go. That's my normal volume. Yeah.
There we go. That's on the fly editing.
Sorry, guys. But anyway, when the alien, to me, I didn't know what it was, and I didn't, it didn't have a form, like I was saying. Then that's when it was the most terrifying to me. And then at the end of it, when it was like, oh, it's just a big alien, blah, 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 I'm like, I can understand what it is then. And that's why, like, horror films and stuff like that, like, don't show you what is coming after, the people or whatever it is, until near the end, where they can be like, oh, see, it's totally okay, it's just this thing. And that's kind of, it eases you to the end of a movie, that way you're not leaving the, like, theater, or like ending the movie with like a weird, like, what even was it? Cloverfield did that, for the most part. Cloverfield was kind of a weird documentary shot style, and it had like a giant monster that was like destroying the city. I believe it was New York as well. You never saw the monster itself, and this thing is like as big as the buildings are, but you never got a shot of it because it was always so far away, or something was blocking it. But you heard it, you saw the effects of it,
and you could basically see the power and strength of it, because it would just topple buildings. It was like a Godzilla that you never saw the Godzilla in, because Godzilla would be much scarier if you didn't ever see the monster, because again, you don't know what you're up against. It goes back to like primal fears of humans, where like that's why we're afraid of spiders, and that's why we're afraid of like wild animals and stuff like that. It's because in the past those were dangerous to us. And that's like an instinct that's just been like, oh hey, we don't need to be afraid of this, this wild animal or whatever, because we have houses and we have, things to deal with them that, you don't have to handle it on your own, basically. So like having, I don't know, it's always been a very prominent thing to me in scary movies that if you don't show, at least horror thriller kind of stuff, if you don't show whatever is causing all of the death or the problems, whatever you want to call it in the movies, it's much scarier to you when you don't know what is chasing you, pretty much. If you don't want to turn around to see it, but at the same time you do. That's why when people play scary games and they're running from something that they haven't even seen yet, if they turn around or if they're killed by it a lot and they see the entity itself a lot, that's why it's not scary anymore. It just becomes kind of an aggravation of like, oh, I know Jesse Cox in Amnesia. He was killed by that monster so many times that it just basically became a burden to play the game anymore, because he wasn't scared by the monster. He wasn't even like jumped like, oh my god, it got me. He was just like, stupid monster came in and it chased me, and that was it. Like, and he you see it enough to just kind of like appropriate the form with.
Plus, you also have to add in the frustration factor,
like once
of that as well, like having to replay that, like
like once you get to a certain point where you have to redo things over and over again to get it completed, the game becomes less like a game and more of like, it's a weird thing to say, but like a job, to play, where it's like you're tasked to do this. It's not an objective. It's not like a challenge. It's just frustrating to play, like you said. So yeah.
Yeah,
that was a long rant.
So that like sparks the fear in you.
Yeah, like
like if you don't know what's
like,
going on, that's
what
like
makes me scared? Because like I said, gore stuff, it just makes my stomach feel bad, and I'm just like, ugh, I feel sick now. Like with things that are supposed to be scary, if like, okay, think of I know you said not to do this, but I'm doing this. Lurking went up a couple days ago, and think of that game. I know. Think of that game, but as your sound waves move out, you hit a red sound wave, and that's all you see. You just see a red sound wave. You don't know what it is. You don't see the outline of the person. You just see a red sound wave, like emanating from the floor coming towards you. That to me would be much more terrifying than when you just saw the humanoid figure. And that's the other thing. Humanoid figures are much less scary than abnormal things that I can't, like, my brain has to go process, like, what does that look like to me? That's why, again, the Alien, because I can go back to that too, that's why the Alien was actually such a prominent like thing that scared me when I was younger, was because it had both. It walked kind of like an animal at times on all fours, or sometimes it stood up on its back legs and moved like that through, areas. And I was like, that is also terrifying, because you really can't appropriate like a form to it. It's not like a dog. It's not like a human. It's like a both. Which I always think makes it scary. Not like just the both thing, but like having something that you can't logically explain as a physical form of something. Like if you have something that looks like a giant spider coming after you, you can say it's a giant spider. But if it has like tentacles, a bunch of legs, and is like spitting like flaming puke or something at people, like, I don't know a thing on the world or in the earth or on the earth anywhere that does that. I can't go, oh, that's a that. Oh, that's a tentacle, multi-legged fire spitting thing. That's what that is. So like when you have, like, again, I think the fear of the unknown is one of the biggest factors of fear in games and stuff like that, just because it's what makes things scary to me. And I know other people think differently, because I know a lot of people with gore are like, oh god, that is absolutely getting my arm cut off would be fucking terrifying. It's like, yes, I mean, I can understand that people have different fears, but like with monsters and stuff like that, at least I think people need to like utilize the fear of the unknown more than they don't.
Yeah. The biggest problem, though, is eventually there's got to be a reveal, because eventually it does end up happening, and then it kind of be like
right.
a letdown.
Well,
if you like hyped it up or like got it suspenseful,
right?
And all that stuff.
And normally that's what people do, because like I said, in media and games and whatever else, like when the monster's revealed and like the end happens, the humans win, yay, everyone's happy, it's a good movie. That's why I was bringing this up. Neither of us like that.
When the humans win,
a lot of times it makes no sense. The alien is much more well equipped and smarter than us to not win, almost, like, unless they are outnumbered so much that, I mean, and throughout like the movies and the games, what the aliens do is they pick off people to make the numbers few, which means that they can deal with, the remaining very easily. So that I always find that that's like a cop out in movies when the humans win somehow. And then they're like, "Oh, but wait, there's someone survived from that, so there's going to be another movie." That's why, like,
the chest burster popped out.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say too. I was like, that's why, like, the Aliens movies kind of died off for me really quickly, because it was scary when it happened, but then after it happened, the humans won. Yay. Okay, the aliens are going to come back for another movie. It's like, that... Yeah, that shouldn't happen, because in that case, the humans are much more like, oh, we have to stick together, and we got to find a way to get off this ship, and whatever else, instead of, like, focusing on one thing, they focus on 10, and I don't know. It seems like they're way too unorganized to make it work. Sort of like I was gonna say in.
Yeah. It also kind of depends on how the character's written too, because a lot of them are kind of written a little.
What do you mean about opening the ship to the vacuum of space, and that she can totally hold on to that thing with her arm? The vacuum of space wouldn't rip her arm off and then pull her arm and her out the... Yeah, it was stupid. But like in Cloverfield, that's the one thing that I loved about Cloverfield, is that they didn't really show who won. The movie ended with the people... Because, like I said, it was like in a documentary kind of like recording. So it's like the people were they were at a party and they were recording this the whole time.
It's kind of like the Blair Witch trial kind of thing, or Paranormal Activity kind of style.
Yes,
where,
very much so.
They're recording it themselves.
Yeah, and at the end of it, the people didn't, like, the people that were recording it, at least one of them, if not all three of them, were killed in the end, because you actually got to see kind of a glimpse of this Cloverfield monster, because it was literally, like, right behind them, and then the camera kind of like pans up right before this dude is just obliterated. The camera falls, the dude's body stereotypically falls in the scene of where the camera's shooting in at, and it's like, oh, he's dead, whatever else. But like they never.
Then it kind of just ends. Or...
They pretty much like right there, like it almost like right about there that it ends, because it doesn't say that like the monster wins. It doesn't say that the humans win. It leaves it up to the watcher to be like, oh, so maybe this happened. Maybe, whatever else, like whatever people think of.
Yeah.
So I know, like I was saying, I know we both very much so disagree when it's like, oh, the humans won because humanity persevered and stuff.
The amount of times that me and him have had a conversation about like watching AVP, and we're just like, no, one of those two things would have killed. The human should have been dead early in the beginning, and then it should have just been aliens versus predators legitimately.
Yeah.
It was just aliens and predators fighting. The humans were dead early in. That's how it should have been.
Like, well, because like you said, a lot of the humans get these stupid, like of course that's how they're written, but like they get these stupid roles that they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be the hero, and it's like, no, no one would. If I literally looked at an alien staring down at a predator, and the predator just staring down at the alien, I would go, you know what? I'm gonna move to Hawaii. I'm going to start up a new home. And from there, I'm going to adopt baby whatevers and raise them as my own.
I'm gonna
my
raise
future.
a lot of attack wolves, and like alarm sounding kind of wolves and stuff like that. So if an alien comes up on my lawn, at least I've got a warning as Cujo's getting killed.
Right? Yeah. Like, yeah. I think me and you can agree on that, where it's kind of a cop out in those movies. Like, if it's very prominent that the humans have a chance, whatever. If they win, cool, right? Like, it's just how it's written.
Yeah.
But if it's in that scenario, it's like, why are the humans in this? It's much more cooler to watch the aliens and the predators fight, and just see the humans try to get out of there. Not fight with them.
I would just enjoy it if it was just an alien and predator movie. Cut the humans out of the equation. Have them fight.
Right.
Woo!
Yeah. Well, humans give a sense of familiarity, which means that it's more relatable to watch.
Predators are close enough. They're humanoid enough. It's fine.
Yeah, they're
they
humanoid.
speak their own language.
So, yeah. They may just leave the mask on, and they're kind of just like a little or a grown adult with a mask on. Almost, kind of.
A gigantic grown adult.
Shh. Don't talk about. Yeah. So yeah, that's. I mean, a lot of that was kind of had to be condensed a bit because this is like an hour 40 whatever minute thing, but it's just some things that the stupid improv at the beginning was pretty much the starter to this, so you already knew that this was gonna be weird.
Yeah.
But we next year hopefully we get we're a little bit more prepared and are able to right. Yeah. Shh! Don't let them know what we got already. Fucking set up for this shit. Don't do it. But
we already have next year planned out. We already have it done, just so you know. We actually already recorded it. That's why we're short on time right now.
Yeah, we have to stop this recording and record next year's right after this.
Yes, because we're that prepared.
Was that the right line? Can I get paid now?
You don't get paid, but yeah, it was the right line. Good job.
Okay, that's fine. So yeah. I guess maybe we're done unless you have something else to add.
The only thing that I could really add is that the fear of unknown is a good point. Like, that would definitely make things scurry. The biggest thing to me that like something that gets me a lot in things is whenever things mess with like your brain, like the psychological horror type things.
Yeah, which is those get me. A whole separate thing.
Yeah.
We'll make a second podcast on psychological horrors.
Yeah. Just remember, kids, jump scares, no. Suspense, go for it. Just make sure it's not annoying.
Yes.
Don't make it a forced suspense. Strip the player / reader / moviegoer of their safety, and make them feel scared. Make sure that they're not comfortable.
Yep. That's
really
another big
that's
thing.
really the best
with,
I got.
with stuff like that. Make them take the power away from them, make them weak, and then throw them into a horrible scenario. And I mean,
where they feel completely
there you
hopeless,
go.
their dreams crushed, and now you got people scared.
Yeah, I mean that's
yep.
sad thing is that's pretty close to what it takes. So,
oh, yeah. All right,
2016
we should probably
skillfully challenged scary game.
What? Sorry, your voice cut out there.
I was saying 2016 skillfully challenged scary game. TM.
Yeah. Yeah. It's already trademarked. Can't get it.
Not even in production yet, but it's
no.
Yeah.
It's in production because we talked about it. It's in production.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Just don't ask what stage of production it's in. And you'll be okay.
Right? Yeah.
All right. Well, hope you guys enjoyed this podcast thing. That
we may do more podcasts,
no
and I
planning.
don't want to say we will or not because then
it kind of depends on what's going on.
All right. Yeah. If we have stuff going on, then yes or no. Shit. I messed it up.
You're fired, Zach.
Cut him off. The long cane comes out, grabs my neck, and I'm like, no, God, no.
Yeah. A freaking crap. Now I've got to go get someone else, and I don't want to freaking talk to that person. Man.
Hello, my name is Enrique.
Anyway.
I am
I'm
his
okay
new
with
replacement.
this. I'm okay with this. Enrique, do you do weekends?
No.
Crap. Get Zach back out here.
No. Oh, God, no. No, why you do this? Hello? What's going on?
Oh, hi Zach.
What?
You're back. That was actually just a joke. That was all a joke.
I gotcha. You're good at this.
Yeah. Oof. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed
sound
this
so uncertain?
podcast thing. Bye guys.
Bye.